Fredericksburg stands as one of the most lopsided engagements of the American Civil War, not for its scale alone, but for its tragedy, its stubbornness, and the brutal clarity with which it exposed the flaws of leadership and the cost of miscalculation. It was December of 1862. The war, now over a year and a half old, had already consumed tens of thousands of lives. President Abraham Lincoln, frustrated by the slow pace of Union advances, replaced General George McClellan with General Ambrose Burnside, hoping for boldness where there had been hesitation. Burnside, though reluctant to take the job, devised a plan to strike swiftly. His idea: march the Army of the Potomac rapidly to Fredericksburg, cross the Rappahannock River, and drive toward Richmond. It was a sound idea on paper, but like so many Civil War plans, it would collapse under the weight of real-world delays, indecision, and the enemy's readiness. The Union Army arrived at the riverbanks opposite Fredericksburg in late November, but the crucial pontoon bridges they needed to cross were delayed by weeks. In that time, Confederate General Robert E. Lee fortified the heights behind Fredericksburg. He placed his men in a strong defensive arc, stretching from Prospect Hill to Mary's Heights. Artillery dominated the slopes, and stone walls provided cover for infantry. By the time Burnside's bridges arrived, the advantage had vanished. On December 11th, Union engineers attempted to lay the pontoons under fire. Days of skirmishing followed. Civilians fled, houses burned, and the once beautiful town of Fredericksburg became a shattered ruin. Then came the assault. On December 13th, Burnside launched wave after wave of Union soldiers across open ground toward the Confederate defenses. Against Prospect Hill in the south, the fighting was fierce but inconclusive. But it was at Mary's Heights where the full horror of the day played out. Union troops advanced in tight formation, shoulder to shoulder, over open fields swept by Confederate fire. They were met with deadly volleys from behind a stone wall manned by Georgia and North Carolina troops. Artillery from the heights above rained down upon them. Still, the Union soldiers charged again and again. 14 assaults were launched. 14 were repulsed. By nightfall, the frozen fields were strewn with blue-coated bodies. Thousands lay dead or dying, the wounded groaning in the cold. The Confederates, secure and elevated, had suffered relatively light losses. When the guns fell silent, the Union Army had lost more than 12,000 men. The Confederates, just over 5,000, a disaster, a massacre. Burnside, devastated, considered renewing the attack the next day. His subordinates talked him out of it. A few weeks later, he was removed from command. The Battle of Fredericksburg was not just a tactical defeat. It was a moral and symbolic one. It revealed the cost of frontal assaults in a modern war. It showed the danger of underestimating entrenched defenders, and it exposed the consequences of ego, haste, and poor planning. Yet within the carnage, there were glimpses of humanity. Confederate Sergeant Richard Kirkland risked his life to bring water to wounded Union soldiers in no man's land, earning the nickname the Angel of Mary's Heights. In a place where death had ruled the day, his small act of mercy offered a fleeting glimpse of grace. Fredericksburg would not end the war, nor even change its course decisively, but it left scars, physical, strategic, and psychological, that would linger. It reminded a divided nation that courage alone does not win battles, and that even noble intentions can lead men into slaughter.